for you with you in mind. All right. So the next thing I want you to know is our vision. We have a focus, we have a guiding compass, and the target is to raise people of outstanding success for global relevance. So whatever we do, such as the breakfast meeting, is get towards this vision. We want to nurture, we want to equip people who will then go on to stand as globally relevant and globally relevant individuals such as yourself. Now, in doing that, we have our core values, which help us anchor us onto our vision and help us in the delivery of that vision. First, as you can see, we use the acronym SPEED. Spirituality, we put God first and we trust Him through the journey entirely. Synergy, we work together. As you can see, we are a team in Success Within International. We prioritize working together to achieve a common goal. Passion, you can see from my smile. I'm very passionate about what we do. So, welcome. Exemplary lifestyle. We don't only want to talk to you, we want to walk the talk. And interestingly, the speaker today, he doesn't claim to be a financial expert, but is come to share with us from his own journey in wealth creation and wealth building. That speaks volumes about exemplary lifestyle. Excellence, we want to do everything to the top-notch level, demonstrating excellence at every point. Discipline, of course, the soul of everything successful. And diligence, we put in the work and we get to see the results. In achieving this, the mission towards this vision is we want to nurture youth for creativity and excellence, teach youth God's way of success. We want to help youth discover talent and purpose. We want to raise an army of people. Uh-oh.
Don't drag it out. Why?
Yes, wants to raise an army of people who will take over the economy positively. So, yes, that's it from our end about Success Within International. Now that you've known us, it's time for us and we've got to know you. Now, we've got to know you and you've got to know us better. It's time for us to get into the main conversation for the day. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to be welcoming with drum rolls. Can I get drum rolls, please? Anybody? Drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls, drum rolls. I can't hear the drum rolls. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the global team lead of Success Within International, I believe he needs no further introduction. You are welcome, Ajayi Adebayo, aka Oga aka Project Manager of Life, aka Strategic Transformation Leader, aka PhD student, aka Professor of Project Management and Leadership, aka. All right, okay. I can stop now.
Good
All right.
morning, good
You're welcome,
afternoon.
sir.
Hope everyone is doing well.
Yes, we are.
Awesome. Okay, please give me a minute. I'm trying to sort out my presentation. I have a very big screen here, and for some reason, everything is shrinked. I prepared, so I'm sorry. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, I think this should be good. Okay, yeah, I think this should be good. Please, can you confirm if you can still hear me and if you can see my screen? Awesome. All right. What has happened again? Okay, good. All right. I think we'll proceed this way. Okay. Can you guys still hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. Apologies for that. Hi everyone. Once again, good day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Because sometimes the world has become a global village, and we have to be sure that everyone is in the same time zone. All right. So I have a very short slide, and the intention is very clear. The intention is to ensure that I, you know, push what I have to talk about money, and then I take as many questions as possible, because sometimes finances is very personal, and if we don't really talk about um you know answer everyone's concern about this money or financial stuffs, you realize that when you listen to conversations around finances, it becomes really academic. And my aim today is to be able to get everyone into that lasting wealth also. So yeah, I like the topic, smart money moves, and when I think about money, I see money as, a mathematics equation. When you think about money, you realize that the higher your income, the the more wealthy you should become. But in the school of money, you realize that high income does not necessarily mean that high income does not necessarily mean that you build wealth. Number two, you then realize that, oh yeah, people say that invest, 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 but as much as possible, your investment is also directly proportional to how much you earn. So there's a lot that needs to be fixed for that mathematics to make sense. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'll talk about escaping the hustle trap to lasting wealth. I want to, paint a very nice picture to you, which is very personal to me. I started my career at the age of 25, to be specific. I worked for a multinational organization. As a very young age, I became a millionaire at 25 as well. Um, Pretty okay. I was in a training school for 18 years. In that training school, they were feeding us, they were washing our clothes. Um we had like laundry guys that were everything on company expense. I was in training school, I was earning money, and I was just earning money to put in my account. I was very rich as a 25. I felt like I could travel anywhere in the world. I was just very comfortable. But I then realized that I got married. When I say got married, like I did my wedding, and then I realized that I have to start from square one. What has happened? What has happened is that, even though I felt I was very rich, but there were some expenses of life that would naturally come, like wedding, that I didn't really plan for in my finances. And when that happened, I saw that I had to start rebuilding. And when I got to that point, I told myself that it will never happen again to me. When I'm planning my finances, before I see myself as someone that is rich, I have money in each of the pockets and everything. And I can tell you that, the last 4 to 5 years of my life, I've I've done extremely well with finance. And I used to say that if I don't teach anything, career or project management, I'll probably be a financial expert, because I think I've mastered money, and I'm just here to share some of the things I've mastered with you. Um, I have my vision board here, and on my vision board here, I have something called Vision 2040. And on that Vision 2040, I know the exact amount I need to earn by 2040, by the way, um, sorry, it's actually Vision 2030. By 2030, I know the amount I need to have in both investment, savings, and everything for early retirement. I used to say that by 40, I'll be 40 in the year 2030. And I used to state that by 40, I need to have money that even if I don't work any day again in my life, I can never be poor. So that is the mindset of what I want to teach you. I want to talk about today. I want to let you know that working harder isn't the same as getting richer. What actually builds wealth, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. And I've then realized that once you master this, you realize that making money is pretty easy, and then even retaining it is the hardest part of it. And you will see some people, they'll make 10 million dollars, for example. Sorry, I'll use a lot of dollars because I live in Canada. I'll try to talk about Naira as well. When they make $10 million today, they'll buy a car of 9.5 million. It's pretty straightforward, and it's pretty easy that they are living the future today. And such a person cannot build wealth. And I'm going to talk about good debt, bad debt. I'll talk about how to really be very rich. Okay. All right. So can I get thumbs up to show that we are still together? I'm ready to go for it.
We are together, sir.
Awesome. All right. So I have icebreaker. The essence of the icebreaker, in Thomas' words, is to break the ice. I'm just joking. All right. So to lighten up the mood, because when we talk about money, sometimes everyone feels like money, 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 money. It's such a like a very juicy and scary topic. But I'll talk about it. All right. What is one money habit from your childhood that you still do today? Good, bad, or funny? Anyone is fine by me. I think I'll take three people for this, and the next one I'll take another three set of people. What is one money habit from your childhood that you still do to today? Anyone wants to go for this, please? Oh, Osho said he spend lesser than he gets. That's good. That's one money habit from his childhood he still does today. That's beautiful. Anyone else? You can unmute yourself, by the way, if you prefer to
Yes.
speak.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you, Thomas.
Although I don't do colo anymore, but I once I get my money, I remove the part I want to tithes,
Wow, save
offering,
first.
and savings.
That's beautiful. You save first.
Always.
That's beautiful. Okay, Ayobami said he was going to say what Thomas said. Okay, that's good, Ayobami. Anyone else? I want people to answer this question. Like I said, it can be good, it can be bad, it can be funny. No judgment zone. No judgment zone. Anyone else? I want one more person to answer this. What is one money habit from your childhood that you still do today? Good, bad, or funny? Oluwaseun said, same as Thomas said, um, it saves first. Another person? Another person going, 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 gone. All right, let's move to the second one. If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self one piece of financial advice, what would it be? Anyone? I'll prefer three people to answer this, please.
Um, so for me, I think I would tell myself, don't put pressure on yourself to meet up
Don't
to
pressure yourself.
people's
I like
financial
that.
standards. I
I
think
like
it's
that.
one of the biggest mistakes I've made. And I think I'm still seeing some of the effects till now. It's slowly growing out, or I'm slowly getting over it, but the damage it had already done as of the time I was I had that mindset. Um, is I can still see the effect. So I think that'll be one piece of advice.
That's good. I like that. That's very powerful. Don't put pressure on yourself. And I think the concept of pressure has put a lot of people in financial mess. That's a very good advice to tell your 18-year-old self. And when you see my kids, please tell them the same thing on my behalf. Hey, don't put pressure on yourself, Nathan. Don't put pressure on yourself, Olivia. Thank you. Any other person? One advice you can go back and tell your 18-year-old self. Anyone else? I thought our breakfast meeting used to be bubbling, but everywhere is quiet. I know. Um, the response, yes, Busayo, thank you.
Yes,
The
Lord.
response will reduce my energy or boost my energy. All right, thank you, Busayo. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I was trying to find a mute point. Yeah, I think that would be compounding, right? So I mean, if I was to start saving like let's say 1,000 between when I was 18 and now, and not touching that money, right? Yeah, that would have probably been a game changer. So for me, there's one thing I'll learn definitely is actually learning compounding, and then just sticking to it and not just jump start, all of that. So yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you. That's a very powerful one, compound interest. And I'm going to tell you a bit about it as well. Compound interest. So, someone, I think this is Thomas. I'm not sure who this is. Someone said money will always follow value, build value in skills, relationship, and knowledge. Absolutely. Um, Oluwaseun said, since 18 years old is considered adult, I will tell my 18 years old self to not only start saving small, but also to look for 18 years old investment. I'll talk about that today. Victor said, buy land, buy shares, convert your naira to dollars. Very good. Um, Goodness said, don't just save, invest in financial knowledge. And I'm going to talk a bit about that today. So you guys are in the right place. And I usually say that those that attend meetings like these are people that probably want more in this particular area. So awesome. Thank you so much for engaging. I'm excited. All right, let's start. I want to say this. You are not broke. You are trapped. Um, and I'm going to talk a bit about this. When we think about the also trap isn't it about laziness? it's a system that rewards effort and never builds ownership. I'm going to, start with something I read in one of the best books I've read about finances. It is called The Millionaire Next Door. Um, this particular American author did an analysis, and the analysis he did was that he tried to check those that work in America, and he tried to see those that retired rich. And then he realized that less than 20% of those that actually worked in America retired as millionaires. Newsflash, boom. It was not the doctors, it was not the experts, it was not the gynecologists that were earning millions of dollars yearly that retired as millionaires. It was teachers. It was teachers that retired as millionaires. And why did they retire as millionaires? They had investment accounts from their first paycheck as teachers. And if you live in, if you've been to America before, you know a bit about the American career system, you realize that the lecturers, the teachers are not as paid as the core professionals in America. But still, they were the one that retired as millionaires because there's something called IRA accounts or investment accounts. Let me just leave it that blank. And they were putting money every single time. The law of compound interest, which some of you said on the call, happened to their money and they retired as millionaires. I'll have loved to show you a chart, and I think I'll probably still I'll look at it before the end of this presentation and do something a bit practical for you and show you the value of your money. The first part about it is that a lot of times we trade hours for naira or dollars. What does this mean? You and I go to work 9 to 5, or Nigeria is 6 to 6 or 6 to infinity, and you are earning money at the end of the month. If that is the only thing you do, giving yourself, you are looking for a job that pays you extremely high, and yes, you get that job that pays you extremely high, and you don't do anything about your money, what is happening is that you are only using your money. You are only using your money. You're only using your time to get money. The moment you retire, what happens to you? Number two, the moment the company lays you off. Number three, the moment something just happens or the company collapses or something, what happens? It means your money stops. If that is what you're currently doing now, and the worst part is that you get high salary, you leave your high salary in savings account and you do nothing. I've said that there's nothing called savings account anymore, and I'm going to explain what I mean by that. A savings account will give you traditionally 3 to 7% interest rate. Interest rate in Nigeria is inflation rate in Nigeria is probably increasing by 10% every single year. So every single year, your inflation rate is going up by 10%. So technically, what you call your savings is actually a reducing account rather than a savings account. So if you're on this call and all you do is to put your money in savings, what has happened is that you are reducing your what every single calendar year. And the only thing you are doing is that, you work in a very good company, pay you good salary, and you only save, and you enjoy your life. Even today, there's trouble not to talk about your retirement plan. And a lot of you are saying, oh yeah, I have pension, but your pension is invested in a mutual fund, mostly in Nigeria. A mutual fund gives you another 3 to 7%. If you do 3 to 7% in the next 20, 30 years, that money is to be 5 million. Now think about it, or 5 million or 10 million, you are retiring at a very, at the time that the value of your money is tiny. Just look at our parents when they retire. How much do you think their retirement plan is? Number two, a lot of people, this is why I said that you are broke and you're not broke, you are just trapped. Some people have high income, they earn pretty high, and they spend more, and there's no access to show for it. They spend really high, and they have no access to show for it. Like you earn very high. I'm going to use Naira. You earn probably 2 million Naira per month, and your expense is 1.5 million per month. And what you are saving is 500K. And that 500K is for when people call, let's you take Uber, you go for parties, you do all sorts. And at the end of that, of your 2 million, you only have 200K left after you've earned high salary. You are trapped. Number three, there's something called the hidden cost. Your energy, your health, your time with the people who matter most is an hidden cost. That is your value. And I think someone said it on the call here when I asked how we tell your 18 years old self, that said, spend time with people that have people spend time to get people with good financial skills or relationship as well. So your hidden cost is in the people you spend, the people who matter most. That is how you get value. Okay. Now let's talk about this. The also trap in general is you earn money and then you spend and then you repeat this cycle. So you earn good salary, you spend so much time on LinkedIn to get a good job. You've gotten that good job, but still you are still spending way higher than you earn. I have never and ever spent more than 50% of what I have earned. In the last 4 to 5 years, I have never spent up to 50% of what I earn. Think about any figure you can think I'm earning. If I'm earning 10,000 naira or 100,000 naira per month, I have never crossed the threshold of 50K. I know, yes, you will tell me that it depends on how much you earn. That is actually not true. When I was living in Nigeria, for those that I visited you once or twice on this call, my house. If I look at my housing allowance and I look at um my house rent, you can never correlate the two. In short, you will not even know that this is the kind of housing allowance I was getting compared to where I was living. Why? Because the most important thing is not to spend everything you earn. When you do that, you're in a rat race. Also trap, every race disappears into lifestyle inflation, the scoreboard that never moves. And I think getting finances in order is more dangerous because I was watching a show around Gen Z, and I'm sorry for the Gen Zs on this call. I'm not trying to pick, but I was extremely worried because I feel like the lifestyle inflation it's at its massive peak right now in the world. So it's at its massive peak right now in the world, lifestyle inflation. If you spend everything you earn, there's massive trouble. In short, there's not just trouble for you, there's trouble for your kids, there's trouble for your family, there's trouble for the future. This is what wealthy people what they do. You earn, you invest first, and you own something. I was when I earned salary, and I did not put savings here intentionally because when people hear savings, they put money in savings account. That is not a wealthy part. When you put money in savings, it means nothing to me. So what I do is very simple. I have my finances in different buckets. I have high risk investment, which I call stock, and I'm a very big stock trader. When I say I'm not, it's not forex. I don't trade forex, and I will never trade forex. So I will never trade forex. I'm talking about stock, like buying shares of companies. I have both Nigeria shares and foreign shares. So I have a percentage. This is how much goes into the big individual shares like the Nvidia, the Microsoft, the Google or Alphabet and the rest, the ETFs, and I have medium scale, which are what I call, investing in stock market. I also invest in other investments like gold. I invest in gold as well. Not a physical gold, but value of gold. And I do all those things. And then I have high risk, I said high risk, high yield savings, which gives you around 10 to 15% yearly, not the usual savings account. I do those things first and then I spend what is left. And I've been doing that for the past 5 years. It's not when I moved to Canada I started doing that. So you earn, you invest, and you own. And I want to say this at this point. I'm not saying that every single thing you earn, I'm not saying every single thing you earn is what you should go into your investment. Enjoy yourself. For those that know me, I love to enjoy myself to my own best possible way. Every year I travel with my family, and beyond that, we can just go on getaways. We have massive fun, and I enjoy my life to the maximum level. So, but if what you are doing is if you are spending what left after investment, you're on the wealthy path. And like I said, I have a vision 2030, and my vision 2030 is very clear. Is how much I need to have in both investment, savings, and not assets now. I bought a house in Canada, and someone said to me that you don't count your house as an asset until you sell it, and I agree. So I don't add the value of my house to my asset. I don't do that, but I have a particular figure that I need to eat by I'm 40, so that even if I don't do any job again, I can say I'm retired. That's the wealthy part. I'm saying this again. This is as big as every single thing we're going to talk about. You earn, you invest. Investment is only some because when you buy shares or mutual fund, you own a stake of those products as well. And I'll tell you some of other things I'm also doing. I'll get there. Your net worth is everything you own minus what you owe. So if you own 10,000 naira and you owe somebody 8,000 naira, your net asset is 2,000 naira. So think about your net worth every single time. Okay, I'm saying a and I think that's a question. Please go ahead.
Yes. Hi, good afternoon, Adebayo. Good
Good
morning.
afternoon. Hi, Modus.
Yes. Yeah. So the question for me, I don't know if you have spoken, if you're still going to speak about this. What I wanted to ask is, for your children, how do
Yeah,
you start building that
yeah,
um
good.
good money mindset already in them? I just wanted to
Yeah,
know, like,
yes,
what are the few things that you do for them just on their own, and
yes,
what do you do for them, to help start them
yes.
off as well financially?
Awesome. Awesome. To answer that, before I answer the question, please, if you have questions, I cannot wait to the end. Bring it on. Especially when you ask questions, like I said, my most important thing is to answer your particular question. So yes, I didn't actually include anything about kids on this slide because I just looked at the demography and I feel like most people don't have kids yet. Maybe that's an assumption, but I'll tell you some of the things I do so that I can also learn from it. One thing my wife and I did was we have an investment for their education. In Canada, it's called RESP, Registered Education Savings Account. And the moment we got to Canada, I think 1 month or 2 months we got to Canada, we started investing in that account. So in that account, they also, it's a managed fund by the platform we are using. Now, every single month, when we put money there, the government adds money to it and the money doubles and then it grows with no compound interest. When Olivia was born, I think 1 week after she was born, we opened our Olivia is my second child. Sorry, I'm assuming everybody knows me. Um, Olivia is my second child. So when she was born, we also opened that account for her as well. It's called Registered Education Savings Plan. Now, let me tell you the value of that account. The value of that account is that in Canada, secondary school, primary school is free. But when our kids get into university, we have to start paying for them. The value of that account is that, let's say that in a whole year you put a particular amount of money and the money grows as high as 100 or $150,000 by the time they are 18. So once they are 18, you have to stop investing in that account. Once they are 18, you have to stop investing in that account. And then government tells you that, okay, this money is for your kids. But on two conditions. Before you withdraw the money, you must show the platform your kids, you must show the platform your kids universities an offer letter before they release all the money to you. Number two, or if your kids are getting scholarship, you give them the scholarship letter, they give you all the funds. Now, this is our own plan. Our own plan is that money we are building for them, we will take it at 18. Once they're 18, we take the money, we put the money into their own personal investment account for them to build their life with it. So if I think about it well, the funds, by the time maybe they are 20, 30, the money will probably be equal to $500,000 for them. They start their life on a very good note. That's our intention. And intention, what I said to them is that, at least Nathan, he can hear words. So when I told him that, okay, the plan is for you to get a scholarship for university so that this money goes into your personal investment account and you build your life. You can use it to buy a house, whatever you want to do with it. That's it. But if you don't get a scholarship from your uni, you use part of this money to pay your school fees until you graduate. And whatever is left is what they're going to invest in your own personal account. So in terms of their investment and their future, that's what we do for both of them. Number two, one of the platforms we use in Canada called Wealth Simple to manage finances. By September, they're opening up a kids account. Now, the kids account is for the kids to manage their account like a checking account. So every month, my wife and I has a budget for the kids to buy their pizza, groceries, or clothes, whatever they want, and all. So what I said to him is that by September, my kids will be 7 in November. My first son will be 7 in November. By September, once the education stuff comes out, the money we put in our own accounts for their everyday expenses every month, like on our budget line, we have a specific amount for each of them. We're going to put that money into their own checking account, get an ATM card, and give the ATM card to Nathan. And I said to Nathan that he's going to manage himself and Olivia's account till Olivia is able to manage that account. And I said to him that every month when we put money to that account, by December, whatever is left in that account, for example, when he says he wants to buy pizza, he wants to buy tacos, he wants to buy whatever he wants to buy, whatever is left in that account every December will double it. So, for example, if what he has left in the account is like $1,500, we are going to double it. It becomes $3,000. So now, beyond investing for them at this age, we also want to train them on how to master money and not to spend everything they have. So yeah, these are some of the things that we have planned for them. I hope I was able to answer that question. I was able to answer your question, Modipe.
Yes, perfectly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. I say on that hand, whose hand is this?
Yes, that's my
Okay.
hand,
Okay,
Akabi.
all right.
I wanted to just crave our indulgence. You mentioned that if they have any urgent question, they can ask, but I want
Yeah.
to request that once you have a question, just note it down specifically. You can even take note of the slide number. It was on this slide that I had the question. That way, we can have time at the end to answer all questions, so we don't break the flow.
Okay,
Yes,
no
thank you,
worries.
ma'am.
That also works. Yeah, like I said, I have enough time for you to ask your questions, so let me just keep flowing. All right, so good. The other thing I want to talk about, oh, sorry, the other one I want to talk about is the pillar one is spend on purpose. And this, for those of you that have met with me on finance, I always start with this. You have to have a budget, not just a budget and a tracker reality. I just remembered I was going to send this budget template to somebody, and the person is on this call. So don't worry, Victor, I'm going to send this to you. I just remembered again. So I have a Google Sheet. That Google Sheet shows proposed income, proposed expenses. When I get paid, actual income, actual expenses. So if I go yesterday now, like went out, whatever I bought, I added it on that tracker while I was still there because on Google Sheet. So what I earn, what I'm buying every single time, and I'm doing real time input of what I'm spending. I know exactly what I spend my money on the most. Like I know it. This is not an illusion. I know exactly what I am spending my money on every single time. I know how I'm saving. I know I'm tracking my savings. I know I'm tracking my expenses. A lot of us don't know where our money is going to. Like, let me give you a very good example. Last year, um, I was doing analysis of, end to end of what to spend on in the house. And then really, I realized that our internet and our phone bill were ridiculously high. Like we're paying almost on internet more than $100 per month. On phone bills, mine was close to $100 per month. And I'm like, this money is extremely high. What I did was I then shopped around and I changed my internet at home. I got another internet provider. And then I the internet provider gave me 3 month discount of I was paying I think $30 or $20 for the first 3 months. Then they gave me a corner for the next 2 years that I will pay $50. So I was able to save almost $90 every single month on that internet bill. Now the 2 years they give me will go out will expire by next year April or May. And I know that once it gets to April, I will shop again for another internet provider. Now I'm able to save this kind of money. You can say, oh, $90 is not a big money. That's 90K in Naira. I'm able to save this kind of money because I'm tracking where my money is going to and I'm seeing my where I'm spending on the most. Number two is that keep the lifestyle cost flat when income rises. Fund goes first, spend what is left. And you need to be very careful because a lot of times we spend first and then we save what is left. It's very dangerous. I know a lot of us do that. And I've taught a lot of people about budgeting, but it takes discipline and commitment to hold this line. And I'm saying it again because if you are here and you are here to learn about smart money moves, you have to hold the line. Stay first and do whatever you want to do later on. Now, the question is, okay, what are we even saving and investing for? And I'll talk about it pretty soon. A lot of times we don't even know, and that was the story I said to you that when I started my career, I was very rich, became a millionaire at 25. I had so much money, but after my wedding, boom, I had to start all over again. Now I did not have a purposeful savings. I was just saving money because I had so much money, so I had to save money. There was no purpose. Now, if I said, oh, you know what, we are going to get married, this is the budget you're going to use to get married, and then this is what you need to enjoy your life. This is what you need to do on vacation when your kids are coming. This is preparation. You will say purposefully, and that's what my family and that's what we basically do now. There is purpose for every savings. We know that, oh, in this particular year we might need to buy another property. We are saving for this. Our kids education, like I said to you guys on this call, we are saving for this. Emergency funds, in case we lose our job, 3 to 6 months, we are covered. We are saving for this. Vacation yearly, we are saving for this. Family and friends, we are saving for this. So we have we are saving purposefully, so that if I look at my account and I see 20 million, and maybe when you add all those buckets together, those buckets requires a 35 million. As I'm saying 20 million, I'm not feeling rich. Like I was feeling rich because I had some amount of millions in my account. Because I know that my goal is 35 million, for example. I'm just using an arbitrary example. Don't think I'm that. So if your purpose is 35 million savings, and what you are saying your account is 20 million, when someone says let's go to party and do is it AWU or whatever they do, you know that you can't afford to go there, because in your financial savings or your financial plan, you're not yet there. So that will not attract you. Purposeful savings, purposeful investments. And I used to say that 3 to 6 months, put it on a low risk investment, so that in case you lose your job, you can easily withdraw that money. But for retirement plans and all those futuristic stuffs, you need to put money in a more medium to high risk, based on your risk threshold, to increase your worth as well. Very, very important. 5-30-20 split. I used to say that this should be the minimum requirement, and I emphasize on minimum requirement. 50% should go on your needs. What are needs? Food. I used to say that sometimes clothing does not become a need again. Clothing moves to want, but it depends on what you define as clothing. Food, clothing, and shelter is 50%. Those are needs, your primary responsibility, things that you cannot do without. While 30% should go on your wants. Then savings should go on to 20%. I've savings and investment, by the way. 30% go on savings and investment. So when you do your budget, your minimum on your budget should be investment and savings with 20%. Please take note. If your savings is not up to 20%, I don't care how much you earn, you need to reduce your lifestyle. And let me say that again. If your savings is not up to 20%, I don't care how much you earn. Emphasis on I don't care part, you need to review your lifestyle. Like I said to you, I've taken my savings and investment to 50% of what I earn. Yeah. And I'm not telling you to do that. This part of taking investment and savings to 50% also depends on how much you earn. But irrespective of what you earn, your savings and investment must not be less than 20%. All right. Automate everything as well. Very, very simple. You can set up, and people don't do this in Nigerian bank. I have a bank in Nigerian bank, and I still do this my Nigerian bank app. I automate everything. For those of you in our community, we have carry-wise account. Let me give you a very basic example. Every Christmas, my wife and I gives family and friends Christmas stuffs and everything. And from January every year, I always automate what we give them in December. Very simple. Previous I used to use Rise. I just put money there, automate everything every January. Maybe take 20, take 30, take 50, depending on from my account, and it goes into this Rise account, and it automatically invests it in high yield. In December, I'm able to have access to the fund, and that's the fund I use for Christmas. Thank you, God bless you, Merry Christmas. Everybody enjoys and goes home. I've planned it since January, and it's automated. So you guys can automate your expenses as well. Don't wait for you to be transferring yourself manually. Let them take it in source. I think it was 2 years ago. We did a financial stuff around automation. I think Thomas, we can bring that back as well. We're just using CarryWise. Up to today, I still have my money there. I think I have above 300K now, and I don't even know that. I think they take 15K or so in my Naira account, or 20. I can't even remember. But I've been automating it since I started that challenge, and I know someone has very good amount of money in that account as well. So automate things. It makes your life easier. Build your emergency funds as well. Aim for, if you lose your job, can you afford? And now when you lose your job now, savings and investment is not included in this figure. It's just your needs and probably your wants. Can you afford to take care of yourself for 3 to 6 months? If you cannot, you don't have an emergency fund. Have an emergency fund. Number 3, every raise means higher automatic transfer. Now, I always say that when you get a salary raise, upgrade your life by 10%. Only do not exceed that. Upgrade your life by 10%. And do not do more than that, because if you do that, you spent all of your gains. Don't forget your gains is, and I need to talk about this now. When you get maybe a job, a new contract, an increase in salary, the essence of those higher increase is to take you faster to your retirement goal. I just painted to you that I have a retirement goal when I'm 40, which is by 2030. and I have eyes on the number. This is my vision board here, and I have it here with star on my head. The number I want to retire with at that particular time. So if you get an higher rate, or get an higher income, or get a contract, the aim is to get you faster to your retirement goal than spending today. When you think about that, you make yourself happy as well. Very easy. Let money compound. If I have some time, I'll do some demo with investment for you. If you are um, if you are 20 years old on this call and you invest 100K every month in Naira, if you are 20 years old on this call and you invest 100 Naira every single month, by the time you retire at 65, you in dollars now, you are going to have nothing less than $1 million at retirement. And you know what $1 million is, right? In Naira. Is that much $1 million in Naira? Can anyone help me? I think that's 1 billion Naira, right? Yes, that's 1 billion Naira. Using
Thereabouts.
1,000. Yeah. So if you are 20 now, you invest 100,000 Naira every month in stock market at 7%. By the way, my stock market is doing close to 60 or 65% annual growth. And that's because I said earlier as well. So I mean, when I say 7%, I'm just overly pessimistic. You retire with 1 billion Naira at 65. Now, time in the market beats the time in the market. Some of you say, oh, market is up, market is down. I really don't care. Every month, my money automatically goes into the market. I think it was yesterday I was telling one of my sisters that I lost $7,000 in like 1 week in the stock market. But I smiled because I even put more money at that period, because the OLSS is that I'm not trying to time the market. I'm trying to, get my returns as high so I can retire early and rest from all this hustle and bustle of life. So what am I trying to say? Start early in your investing. And their bank app, I also invest in Naira apps using Bamboo. For those of you that are in Nigeria, use Bamboo. Bamboo is one that I can tell you that it's a very good platform. Start early. Start early. Today is not too late. Tomorrow will be too late. Today, now is not too late. Start early. If what you can afford is 10,000 or 20,000 Naira every single month in the stock market, please do that. Start early and be consistent. Don't do 10,000 today, 2,000 tomorrow. No, be consistent and you reap the rewards of it. Extremely, extremely, extremely easy. And I want to tell you this: the more money you have, the more wealthy and the more opportunities comes your way. I want to say this, and I hope that this will be taken at a higher rate. Now, when banks see that you have so much worth with them, they will offer you things for free. I remember one of my investment platforms, they gave me a black card, and when you have that black card, you can, if you can do like hotels around the world, massive discount. If I'm traveling anywhere in the world, I have $5 million health insurance, like maximum benefits. In short, one of the other advantage of that card is that if I'm traveling anywhere in the world, there is a what they call this thing that people stay in the hotel, in the airport.
Lounge, business lounge.
Thank you. Business lounge. I have access to all the business lounge in the world with that card. I have close to maybe $50,000 if I need to do anything with. It's a well simple card. It's called infinite privilege. So what I'm trying to say is that the more money you have, the more opportunities also comes your way. All right. Most money invested in your 20s can grow in many times over retirement, but mostly from earning returns, not new deposits. So, guys, please keep pushing your investment. All right. Other things I will talk about is that build more other one streams of income. When I was small, they used to tell us, I have more than one stream of income. Oh. They used to tell us that a long time ago. But I realized that statement, it was a like to have statement, but now it's a must have statement. I have more than 2-3 streams of income. And I'm telling you that for sure. If you don't have that, you might not be able to cope with the demands of today. Not talk about the demands of tomorrow. So one of the things I've done in the last few months, which I'm still trying to scale into the market, is that I've even built some products already. I have one product on goal setting. I have a product on, project management, where this is very from my project management training company. I created a website where individuals can go, those that want to go into project management, can go and practice, prayer management interview questions, can put a job application on that platform, put their resume, and that job will tell them what they need to practice for that particular job interview. Also, build automatic resume for you. Job board anywhere in the world. If you're looking for any particular project management job, you go there, you search for it. It combines all the jobs from Indeed, LinkedIn, everything you can think about is on that platform. It's called Cadre. So I'm still trying to scale that into the market. But beyond that, what are your skills? I know people on this call, some of you guys are business people, some of you guys like Thomas now is a games master. Turning your skills into product will make you more money as well. I consult for like 2-3 companies. Like I think it was last month. Maybe we went for a very short trip with another family, and one of the companies I consulted for just paid me some money, and that was what we used to enjoy ourselves. So it's so important that you build more than one stream of income. Have businesses, do service for people and collect money. Don't be afraid to collect money. Collect money from it, because money is basically an exchange of value. And invest your side income. Don't upgrade your lifestyle. If you spend everything you own right now, you will then realize that you are still broke. I've seen things. I've seen my own parents that were multi-millionaires. When they retired, it looks like they never earned millions when they were in service. So I'm sure that we take lessons from all those things as well. And the money you also get from passive income. For example, there were months that I made $5,000 cheaply on my stock market. And which was also reinvested into the stock market. So what am I trying to say with all this summary, with all this talk? Build more than one stream of income. When you do that, you are well at rest, so that even if one job fails, you are okay as well. And I think we only say this every single time we come for finance class, but people don't really take note of it. Sit down, think about it. What exactly can I do for money? And because if you're focusing on one stream of income, you'll be struggling. Okay. Active income stops when you stop. Passive incomes keep paying you after work is done. One of the best decisions I've ever done was to make my project management business beyond me. I have trainers. I even have partners now beyond trainers as well, where we share profit, so that with or without me, the project management, my project management company is running, is like with or without me. And that is technically a passive income for me. Of course, I'm still heavily involved in curriculum and training materials build. But in terms of training, I don't do it alone. We have like 4 trainers as well. So and I call that sometimes passive income. So guys, the summary of this slide is build more than one stream of income. Just sit down and ask yourself, what exactly can I do? And for those of you that invest in stock, you already have another stream of income as well, which is a very good one for you. Sometimes MTN in Nigeria, you guys are buying recharge card. MTN is paying me because sometimes I get dividend, I think monthly or quarterly, I get dividends from MTN in Nigeria. So I'm in Canada, I'm earning money from those of you using your money to buy recharge card in MTN, because I invest heavily in MTN and they pay me dividends, I think every quarter or every month. I can't remember. Same with GT Bank as well. So guys, there's so much opportunity out there. I know people that they don't do anything. The only thing they do is they invest. Whatever they have, they just invest. And the money they get as their dividends or their returns is what they use to survive every month with their family, and they are doing very well as well. Protect what you have. I'll talk a bit about this, and I think this is my last slide, right? Second to the last slide. For those of you that have debt, I want to say this. Debt is on its own is not bad, but it depends on what you use your debt for. I used to tell people that if you want to borrow money, it's okay. Borrow money to invest in a business or an asset. Do not invest money to go to party or to travel or to do wedding. It doesn't make sense. You don't use debt to do liability. It doesn't make sense. You use debt for assets, which makes sense. So I will tell you debt is not a bad idea, but use debt to buy business, to build business, or something more profitable. For those of you that have debt and you want to clear your debt, 2 methods I learned. One is the snowball debt. So the one that have the smallest balance, your smallest. So if you have like 3-4 debts, the one that is the lowest amount of debt, try to clear it first. The good part about it is that when you clear your low debt first, you're able to build momentum and you're excited. You can then move to the one that that is the second higher, the higher one, and then go to the highest debt. Or there's what they call avalanche. For me as a person, I always say that using the avalanche one is the best way of paying debt. Why? Because avalanche is saying that you are paying the debt of your higher interest. So if you have debt and maybe one debt is charging you 20% interest, and one is charging you 5% interest. Even though the 20% interest is the one that you have the largest amount of money, try to clear the one with the higher interest first, and then you move to the one with the lower interest. But I know sometimes in Nigeria, maybe your debts are not they are interest free, then the snowball effect will save you first. Number two is insurance. I was talking to my family member yesterday and my mother-in-law, and she was just say, we'll not die young in Jesus. I said, I know, mommy, we'll not die young. But there's something called life insurance. Sorry for those of you that have family. Um, Life insurance basically means that when anything happens to you before a particular period of time, they will cover a particular amount of money and give to your family. And term life insurance means that you can pay maybe 20K, 10K, I don't know how much it is in Nigeria every month. So in case anything happens to you at any point, your kids, your family will not suffer. So it's called insurance as well. And also, a will. Don't say, oh, I'm still young, I don't have a will. Please start a will. And so that for those of you that I used to tell people that when you're married, you can have a will. So if you're not married, enjoy yourself. I want to just demystify some myths. Don't say I need a higher salary to build wealth. Habits matter far more than income. If you're earning 10,000 naira, you cannot manage it well. When you earn $10 million, you'll not be able to manage it well. That is fact. Because lifestyle creep will creep on you. So higher salary is not what builds wealth. Habits is what builds wealth. And I've said this billions of times. Have a budget, invest and save. Don't spend everything you earn. Invest and save first before you spend. Number two, some people say investment is only for experts. That is not true. Low cost index funds require no expertise. If you don't know what to invest, just invest in exchange traded funds, which are the ETFs. Just invest in companies that you know. Investment is not for experts. I've never read any book on this is how to invest. I've read a lot of books on finances, but investment I just started by myself during COVID-19. And that was it. It was COVID-19 that I started major investments, and I just love it. Keep my money to buy a part of a company and the rest. That's good. Sometimes I'm just at home. I get documents from Apple, Apple as a company, talking about some of the things we want to do amongst their shareholder. I feel like I'm part of those. I'm part of those companies. When I get a letter from that organization telling me about their plans, this is what they want to do. What's my thought on this? I know I should sign. I should say this. I feel very good. Oh yes, I'm a part of this. And this is one of the tricks I also use for my investment. There's nothing I own that I don't have an investment in. There's nothing I own that I don't invest in. So, for example, I use a lot of Apple products. I have my investments in Apple products. My kind of car that I drive, I have an investment in. I buy the shares of that company. At home as well. Some of our energy bills, I invest in those companies. So it's just logical. As I'm using those things, I'm technically getting money back in return, and that's how I just invest. Things around me that it's public. The companies are publicly traded. I invest some of those companies. I buy a part of those companies, and even when I'm spending money to do those things, I know that I'm not wasting money. I'm paying myself technically on the long run. All right. More income solves everything. More income will not solve everything. I've just said that to you. Spending usually rise to matches as well. Without a plan, a risk can do you nothing. So, sorry, I'm a professor, so I like to give assignments. The first assignment is track every expense, list all your debts, and say, okay, every month, this is how much I want to save, this is how much I want to spend on this, Have that budget. Number two, automate a savings transfer. No matter how small, just automate something. You can automate your investment as well. Week three, open or fund an investment account. I don't know. I know maybe Stanbic does some investment or Bamboo. I love Bamboo so much. It's very easy for me for my investments in Nigeria. So for those of you abroad, well, simple. For those of you in the UK or Europe, 3212 is a pretty safe platform to invest in. And then the last one is pick one skills to turn into extra income. Income exists everywhere. Income exists everywhere as well. Wealth is built quietly, not through one big win. Wealth is built continuously. I've said it to you. Wealth is built continuously. The time you get to a point and say, "There's nothing I want that I cannot afford," then you can tell yourself you are really building wealth. And you're building wealth the right way. When it gets to finance, I really enjoy it because it is garbage in, garbage out. What you put in, you see it at the other side of it as well. Thank you so much. Let's give room for questions. Over to you, Thomas.
Okay. A round of applause, everyone. A round of applause, a round of applause. I mean, keep it going. Thank you so much, Agabi. When I was privileged to do the intro or like call it invitation video for this event, I said something. I said one of the most powerful things that can ever happen to anyone is to be reminded of the same old truths that they have failed to master through new perspectives or new practices that can help them master it. And that said, is one of the things Gabi said. Most of the things we've heard here today, we have heard some of them before. But you would agree with me that the personal experiences that came with it, they say that the secrets of great men are in their stories. So the personal experiences, the perspective from which he taught them, and the practices he introduced that you can apply will help you master these same old truths better. So that said, I want to say thank you, Ogabi, for being a master reminder, and thank you for being a master instructor. And I believe that if we take steps, I mean, they say if you do what they did, you will see what they saw, or you will see what they are seeing. So let's practice and build the wealth. I mean, most of you can set your goals now. At 40, what would you like to have? So room for questions. Victor, over to you. If you have questions, please just raise your hand. I'll call you up one after the other. Victor, please.
Thank you, Thomas. I just wanted, thank you, Rabi, for sharing. I just wanted to talk about something you mentioned, about the lounges. I know people, personal stories of people who pay any amount or who pay extravagantly just to be able to go to those lounges because maybe they're trying to gain access to the lounge or be able to see how other people live and stuff. And then you get to find out that some other people actually don't pay. Like the really wealthy people don't pay to get that access, right? So sometimes we need to be careful what our priorities are in terms of like how we use our money and how, oh, you are spending money to get this when the people who are truly wealthy don't actually use their money for this
Mm,
access. I just wanted to just talk about.
mm.
Okay, I believe that was a contribution. Thank you so much. And it really speaks volumes. Be very intentional about what you do with your money. Let money make more money for you. Thank you, Victor, for sharing that. Any other question, please? I believe there should be questions. I mean, Ogabi always says something. After teaching, if there are no questions, it either means two things. It means the instructor was very, very clear and precise and everyone understands, or he has successfully confused everybody and no one knows what questions to ask. So please, any other question? Okay, without any question, I see. Few the slides have been shared in the chat. Please take advantage of that. Okay, you have a question. Okay, please. You did not raise up your hand.
Sorry, I was. Um, Hi, David. Thank you so much for the session. I think my simple, hopefully simple question would just be, for someone who has, like, at the start of the meeting, I made a statement that um, there were some mistakes I think I had made earlier on that has affected the trajectory in terms of my finances currently. What would be your first advice to getting myself back on the right track to at least get me a lot further on the right track where I want to get to?
Okay, so I think first thing you need to do is to map up where you want to get to. So I've said a lot about defining a goal for saving and investment. If you don't do that, you have so much money now, one problem exists, you just pack that money and give the person or whatever situation is. Know exactly what you want in terms of what's the next step for me. What do I want to what's the financial target I have for myself? Once you get to that point, you then tell yourself, where are you today? Okay, do I need to, if there's debt involved, do I need to pay back some of those debts and then start building again? But the first thing I need to do is, one of the greatest book I've read, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. One of the habits is start with the end in mind. If you start with the end in mind, your focal point will not be on the mistakes you've made. Your focal point will be on where you need to get to. So I think the first step for you is to map up what does that future look like for you financially. Once you get there, you will then be able to map out the things you need to do to get to the future you want to get to. Yeah.
Thank you so
How
much.
was that clear? You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, AJ. I think one of the powerful things that Ogabi shared earlier, I mean, I've read the story a number of times where he said when he started, he earned a lot of money, he was practically balling, he could save a lot. But one thing that changed that for me was the fact that after the wedding, I mean, wedding was successful and all of that, it felt like back to square one. So new intentional steps needed to be taken. And I can imagine some persons like me who probably are hearing that for the first time, I've heard it before, had questions like, I didn't start like that. When I started, I had to start saving money for rent. I was doing my own, like the bills were small and I had to foot bills. I wasn't getting free lunch. I wasn't getting someone doing my laundry for me. And I had to spend. And rent in Lagos was skyrocketing with my little entry level salary in a company and all of those things. I'm sure many people have that question, but I think as I've been instructed today, I'll share with you. You can always start from where you are. I started from somewhere, and of course, I had to spend my money at some point. But I always make sure there's that habit I maintain. The tracking your expenses, even then, you need to make mega expenses that will take a chunk of your funds. Make sure you track it so you know where your money is going to, and you're not thinking or guessing. Ayabami says my takeaway from this session is the assignment Ogabi gave us. I used to invest in the stock market, but I stopped last year because I was saving for a goal and couldn't do both together. Now is a good time to return and get additional stream of income. Yes, it's always a good time. I mean, I can share that story also. Similar experience. I was saving to invest, and ACCA came. Then the exchange rate crippled everything. ACCA is paid in pounds, and yeah, I'm saving in naira. And when the exchange rate practically tripled, all my naira savings, most of them had to go into ACCA savings. And at some point, I had to say, wait, I'm passing this exam for now. I cannot come and be on. So yes, no matter what happens, the next best time is today. So please go again. Thank you very much. Ogabi, do you have anything to add to what says in chat?
No, no, no. Let me see. Sorry, I was not looking at the chat. Oh
That's
yes, I
fine.
used to invest in stock market, but I stopped last year because I was saving for a goal. That's okay. I'm at least I'm happy that now you know that you need to go back to the stock market. That is how to get to the stock market. Yeah, I thought Busayo had the question as well. I saw his hand, but
Usha, please, do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Where's your
I mean, my
hand?
question, I raised mine, I
sorry.
had to drop it. Sorry. Mm,
Please go ahead.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So I think my question was going to be on I mean, looking at maybe your journey, or maybe, yeah, your journey as well as like life's, like to this financial journey, what would you rate the impact of, let me use the word education? And when I mean education, whether, precisely the right degrees, right? Whether certifications, the right degrees, and how does that increase your chances?
But please,
I'm saying
can
that
you say that question
specifically.
again? Not be sure I'm
Okay,
getting
so
what you're saying correctly. Yeah.
all right, how would you rate or value the impact of education, right? Um, yeah, the impact of the right education or the right degrees, and how that impacts your financial projection generally. I'm saying that, for example. So let's say, I mean, for my own, for example, I would probably just have one degree, like obviously my first degree, and I mean, that has done some form of favors along the line, you get. But I also know that to a large extent, if I need to upskill, if I need to um, hit a particular goal, it's definitely a need to upskill. So what I'm trying to ask generally, just to summarize, is what would you rate the impact of degrees, certificates, and how it impacts like your earning power and probably your goal of earning well? Yeah, that's my
That's a
question
very
is.
brilliant question. And I actually think that sometimes when people ask questions, they tend to get more from me than when I make presentation. I'll be very, very, very honest with you. The question you asked is a $1 million question, and I'm going to answer you as much as I can. Yes, you're right. I'm sure you know me a lot, Busayo. I'm an avid reader, and I'm going to pick two things. Informal education. Will you believe that this month, I was on last year, before I start informal last year, there was one YouTube recap that they did for the first time at the end of the year. I don't know if you guys saw that YouTube recap thing. And when I got my own YouTube recap video, guess what was the highest for me? Just can you guess? Finance videos. Finance videos. I will sit in my living room if there's no soccer, especially if Arsenal is not playing on a weekend, on anytime is not dragging remote with me. I watch on finance videos, how to invest in stock market, real estate. I just sit, I just enjoy it. So last month, to be precise, this is July, right? Last month, June, I was just sitting down and I saw a podcast interview I saw a podcast beside on a particular lady. She went bankrupt and then she built a multi-dollar company by speaking and writing books. And of course, that's like my domain. I watched that podcast for almost 1.5 hours. After the podcast, I went to search on the lady. I saw that she wrote a book. I ordered the book on Amazon. I'm looking at my library here now. At the minimum, I have close to 30 books on finances. At the minimum, I have close to 30 books on finances. I just enjoy it. And I realized that the more I read those things, the better I become in my finance. I enjoy it. In short, I just told you a book I read, Millionaire Next Door. I just love it. And as I'm reading, sure, you can buy a book and it's only one line you will get there. That's the value of reading. And Oyedepo has told us about that a lot. For those of you that went to met that knows Oyedepo, I just love that. So informal education, I'm going to answer your formal education. Informal education, yes, for sure. It's very valuable. I listen to a lot of podcasts on my phone, YouTube, and I read books. I love books a lot. Beside my bedside, upstairs, beside my bed, rather, at least you see 7 books I'm reading concurrently. So that's for sure. Now, the formal education wise, yes, there is a powerful connection between your degree and money. And I'm going to explain. Um, I currently work as a senior manager in my organization, blah, blah, blah. And the way I got my first international role, my first job when I was in UK, was I went to do my master's in the UK and I saw that opportunity as well. So I could trace it back to say, and in Nigerian breweries, they don't employ those that don't have a master's degree. And the reason is because they had high attrition rate at some point, and then they realized that a lot of people were resigning to go and do their masters. So the company made the decision: we are not going to employ someone that doesn't have a master's, so that they don't resign and say, I'm going to do my masters. So because I had a master's, and that was I was able to get into it. Another opportunity was that another one is my MBA. I wanted to become a director at 35. I had that goal when I came to Canada at 32 years old. I wanted to become a director in a company at 35. So I went up an MBA program so that I can speak the leadership, I can speak the boardroom language and everything. And then when I was 34, I got the MBA and my desire changed. I don't want to become a director anymore. I want to own organization. I want to be a consultant. And because that my desire changed, of course, I had the MBA. I got a merit, so I did not fail because that desire changed. And I wanted to become a consultant. And I said to myself that, oh, for me to become a consultant in the world that I live in, I have to be an expert. Now, what's that degree that speak expert language? The degree that speak expert language is PhD. So I went to register for a PhD of strategic leadership at Royal Robert. In short, when I got that admission at Royal Robert, it was like a dream. And that I did not look at the school fees. So my friend said, "Oh, correlation, can like he doesn't want to see the details of the offer." When I sent it to my friend, he said, "How will you pay this amount?" I said, "Hey, what's the amount?" I did not, and I'm as I'm honest as I can be with you. I did not see the amount, the cost of the PhD for the 3 years. So when I said, "Hey, how much?" When I saw the amount, I said, "Wow." I said, "Oh," and I'm telling you, and I'm honest as I can be. I did not fake it. I just believe it was possible. And when I said I did not fake it, I did not spiritualize that moment. But my desire was more towards what I'm going to use the PhD to do rather than the cost of that PhD. And I'm in my year 2 of the PhD. God has been paying that PhD money, and I'm having the best of time on the PhD program because I want to retire as a consultant in the strategy world. And that's my desire now. And when I talk about retire in the strategy world, it's to make more money. Now, I'll finish the PhD by God's grace at the age of 38. I want to retire from a core 9 to 5 by the age of 40. So the PhD that I'm doing has a direct proportion to the money I'm going to bring after retirement. Can you see the plan? Now, certification. When I came to Canada, my desire was to sit on the global scale of project management. That was my desire. And I said to myself that before I break through the cracks, because I heard a word yesterday that I've never heard before in my life. I used to think blacks are minority in Canada. Someone said to me that blacks are minority of the minority in Canada. And I'm like, oh, that's true. Because in the space of 30 if you are 30 in a room, the blacks will be 1 or 2. Indians can be like 5 or 7. So he said blacks are minority of the minority, and that's fact. So I said, before I can break through the ranks and all, I need to speak their language. And how do I speak their language? I want to be a PMI global director. I have to understand the PMI framework. So all the PMI certification, behind me teaching PMP, I have it. PMI, ECP, I'm an Agile Certified Patrona. I'm a PMO expert. Like, I engulf certification because, don't forget, for me to sit on that scale, at the end of the day, everything leads to impact and influence and probably money. I need to understand what is happening. I need to get the minimum baseline. So that's why I take all those certifications and everything. And, I think it was last year, I became the youngest director ever on the board of PMI Ontario. In short, we had an election recently for the next year. I was number 2. And I have another 2 years on the board. Yesterday, I got the biggest ever breakthrough I've gotten in my whole project management career. I'm invited to speak in North America Leadership Institute meeting for PMI in United States of America, Michigan. I got the letter yesterday. I've never experienced such a breakthrough in my professional network before. And guess what? All those things happen because I have that minimum baseline. Minimum baseline. Minimum baseline. Minimum baseline. And the event is in October, so you can pray. You can pray for me. So, what I'm trying to say is that the education has a direct input to your financial empowerment, whether directly or indirectly. You cannot be a mediocre and you want to get certain things. And again, and I use informal because what you need might not be formal. It might not be the PhD, the master's. What you might need might be certification or a boot or an exposure to something that just increase your net worth. That is actually how to make money globally. Thank you.
Firstly, I'd like to be the first to say congratulations. Congratulations. I yes, I covered this, and yes, the wisdom, the practical, the way you answer that question, the balance in it actually. I think I really appreciate the balance of both. A lot of people say school, 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 but you bring that balance. Thank you so much. Quick one before I think this will be the last question for the day. Not a question per se. So Oluwaseun is saying she's been building savings to amount to an investment. And I know I've been in this bucket before where what I could save was maybe 20K per. And I know that investing 20K wasn't most investment I was seeing there. You have to have like 200K and things like that, right? So she's been building, she's now saying while she's building her savings to amount to something, can she start investing those small, small things that she now start building on the investment rather than building on saving?
Yes,
That's the
yes.
question.
That's a very good question. Oluwaseun, you ask good questions. One of the things I always say is that don't wait to invest a particular amount of money before investing. Split it. So for me now, I have 80-20. 20% savings for emergency fund, 80% investment. So whatever you have, you can take any proportion, any percentage, and invest a part of it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Agabi. And with this, I believe we've come to the end of the breakfast meeting for July. Remember, we have breakfast meeting every month, once a month. Be on the lookout. I dropped the link in our chat earlier. If you want to join the Success with the International community, please use the link to join. You will get updates on when we do breakfast meeting and other perks that come with joining our community. Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure hosting you. My name is Thomas Makinwa.
Are you
What
not
is
going
it,
to
sir?
take my last question?
What's the question, please?
My wife is raising her hand.
Oh, I didn't see that. Apologies. Mrs. Ajayi.
Oh,
Mrs.
yes.
Ajayi. Yes, please speak.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bye. I think this has been such a rich session. I joined in late, but I just wanted to call your attention to Shion's question. I know you answered the first part, but I don't think you answered the other part, where she said she has the app Bamboo Rise, but she really doesn't know where to start from, like where to invest in. So could you maybe give
Oh,
pointers, where can she start from? Because I'm sure there are other people on the call that might value that
so
response.
yeah, thank you. Sorry, I didn't see it. See why it's good to have a woman by your side.
Yeah, I
Help me.
agree.
All right. So, Shion, if it's investment into the stock market, I'll pick Bamboo over Rice. Bamboo don't pay me anything, by the way. It's not a campaign. So, if it's investment in stock market, use Bamboo. If it is emergency fund savings, like a fixed deposit savings, use Rice. Please do not use Rice for stock market trading. The reason is that Rise caps your growth and say they only give you 10 or 15% return or something like that. So, Sean, to be specific, stock market use bamboo for if you want to, for low risk or medium savings or short term like 3 months. Because I know Rise has 3 month savings, 6 month, 9 month, and 12 month savings or investment. You can use Rise for that. But for stock market trading, you can use bamboo for that. I have an advice. Start with Rise for the whole, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. You see what is happening. And then when you're a bit more comfortable about investments, you can then go into bamboo. Thank you. The
Okay.
stocks to invest in. I think I talked about that at the beginning of this. If you don't know what the stock to invest in, ask yourself, what are the things you use that are doing well? If some of you have Apple phones, you don't invest in Apple. I always advise people to also do ETFs. ETFs investment is the easiest. ETFs means exchange traded funds, which is combination of different stocks. And I always advise people as well to trade in ETFs. What you can do is very simple. I do that sometimes. Go on AI, ask AI what are the top rated ETFs. This is spelling of ETFs. ETFs. I put that in the chat. Go on AI, what are the top rated ETFs to invest in? And that's where you can start. These are the stocks to start. You can start investing in ETFs first. When you're comfortable, you can get into individual stocks. And do not invest in individual stocks that you don't know. That's the rule of thumb I use for myself. It's not an investment advice. It's just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Last question. Ayobam is asking if the carry saving is still on. Yes, it is. And since you're on the group chat, I'm going to refresh and send the link again to the community after this call later today. So thank you so much. See you again in August for the next breakfast meeting. This was fun and hosted by Success Within International. Thank you so much. Stay with us. Thank you so much, Agabi, for today. Ajayi, Adebayo, we appreciate. Have a wonderful day, everyone. God bless you. And yes, you can catch the replay of this on YouTube. Just check Success Within International on YouTube. The replay is there, so you can watch and keep reminding yourself of the same principles and the answers to the questions. Yes, that will be all for now. Thank you so much. Have a good day. God bless you all.
Thank you, Mrs. Makinwa, as well.
Thank you, Pimax.
You're welcome, F. Mac.